Okay, hello and welcome to One Code. I'm going to record this video with, you can say, a quick session for building a landing page on Bubble. Consider this as an introductory session to Bubble development. I will be talking about a lot of design components and how you can design websites on Bubble. It won't cover any complex topics, but I think it will cover some pretty basic stuff like setting up an app or um, simple design things, responsiveness, and things like that. So let's start. Let me go to, yeah, this is my Bubble login. This is my apps dashboard. Here I have few apps, but let's create a new app. You can go here and say let's create a new app. I don't want to create it from a template, I want to create it from scratch. So let's say we call it, basically let me show what I want to build. This is a Figma design that I want to translate. It's an agency, a tech agency, a tech company's landing page, you can say. And this is the design that I'm going to be translating to Bubble. So let's get to it. Let's name it landing page tech company or something like that. Yeah, or tech company landing page. I think that would be better. Here we go. This is how you name it. Get started. So it will create a Bubble app here, and it will load. It will give you an option to opt for a starter plan. We are not going to do that. We will start with the free plan. Though Bubble gives you like 14 days free trial period, I think they will charge you around $30 after that per month. Yeah, $32 per month. But I think for this tutorial or building basic landing pages, you can start with basic features or free version. Uh, okay, it will create a new app and then it will let me set it up. Okay, at the start it will give you a wizard to set up your app. So this is the name of my application. This is fine. This is pretty cool. On the right side they will give you, kind of a view of your application, like how it will look. The basic thing is the styling of your app. Bubble has this pretty cool style management component, or you can say where you can define colors, primary colors, or different components of the app, like a button or a title, or or body or something like this one, or what will be the color of success alerts, or destructive messages, and outline button and things like that. So first thing, I need to set the app font. Let's go to Figma and see what is the app font. Let's click this one and it will give me an app font. Okay, it's not that. Okay, that's why. Let's go to, I think, this group or some other component. Yeah, this one. So it is telling me that font is Enter. So I'll say okay, my basic app font is Enter. That's fine. Now I'll go to the next step. Then yeah, this is pretty important. As you can see on the right side, uh, you are previewing this, like how your website will look like. I think our primary color in this app would be this blue one. In Figma, if they have defined variables, that would be really helpful, but you can also pick it from here as well. So this is your going to be your primary color. As you can see, the buttons have changed their color here, so this is what I want. And then primary contrast is something, if you click over it, it will tell you like what's it about, or maybe in the styling component you can go and see. But the definition is that anything that is appearing on top of primary color is a contrast color, which is in this case white. I think in our design this is also white. If you see anything on top of our primary color is basically white. So this is fine. This will work for us. Then there is this text like um, what color do you want your text to have. Now it depends. For example, here this is white, here it is black, but throughout the application there would be some primary text color that I would be using, and I think this is the one that we can use. This is black. So I can say 000. So yeah, as you can see now this is black. Surface color is again I think it's the color that you're seeing here. We can again see what they are defining it, but yeah, I think it's not showing here. I'll go to the style component to show it to you later. Let's keep it white for now. Background is also background is pages background, or I think components background, which is fine. Destructive for any button or any component which is leading to a destructive action like deleting things. Anywhere if we are showing this kind of icon or button, it will show as red, which is fine. Success is green. Alert is like yellow. I think this is pretty much fine. Then we'll go to the next step. Now our this will ask for if you want to add some basic plugins. I think most of the apps would use these plugins, like API connector. It's not in the scope of this video, but you can add API connector to link external APIs. Then there is Stripe. We are not going to use any of this, I think. Then we will go to get start building, and here is your app. Here is your first app or first screen, which is index page. Then some pre-configured pages like 404 not found for your app. You can redesign this, but let's keep it as is for now. Then there is this reset password. This is again pretty basic stuff. You have to have this reset password page in your app, because when you will be setting up sign up or sign in, then you would be giving them a forget password option, and they will Bubble will send a link to them, and that will land on this page. So this is coming by default in Bubble apps. So these three pages are where any Bubble app will start from. Let's go to the index. It's empty, but before starting anything, let's go to styles and see what we have done here. As you can see, I can define style variables. These are the style variables that we have defined. As you can see, the app font is set to enter, which I did when I started this. Then there is these colors variables. If you go here, then it's primary is your app primary color, or your branding primary color. Then primary contrast, I think surface is the background color for containers, any container in your app or in your pages. Then background is the color for pages and sections. So yeah, this is pretty basic stuff. You can add more here, create a new color depending upon your needs. Maybe throughout this demo we will be doing that, but for now let's keep it to this basic stuff. Then we can also configure our elements. There are different elements used within a Bubble web app. Let me go to the design to show you. For example, anything it's I think it's pretty much like Figma, where everything is either in frames, and it's coming vertical or going horizontal. We will discuss that later, but if we look at it if I try to identify my components, there are texts, there are links. These are links that to different pages, maybe some external links as well. Then icons, then other things. Again, here I see a link. Then this can be a group, image, body font, or body text, or title text, or something like that. And again, here it is kind of a section title, or this is body. So yeah, these are the components, these are the elements that we are going to use here. So I think that's pretty much it. Then we have this footer. Footer is not a defined element in Bubble, but let's see how we proceed with it. So let's go to the basic stuff. For example, I'll go to the text component, and I say wherever I am going to use body font or text as body. For example, this is my body, body of this component or this section. Then here it is. Again, uh, this is how it looks, but this white color here is a kind of a contrast color because it's appearing on, you can say, the dark background, but this one here, this black color or this thing, you can call it like a default body font or body font color. But the thing we are interested here would be the color and the font itself. Font is enter, weight is 400 and size is 16 pixel. Let's go to bubble and let's define our body font. Okay, font size is 16 pixels, so I'll change that to 16. Okay, then as I have already set the app font, so it has picked enter. I will say alignment to the left, then the text color is black. I think we set it in the styling, which is black, that is fine. Then and as you can see here, by default, what I defined in the style variable as text, it is setting it to the text styling or anything, any style variable or element style that I'm defining, which is a text. It's by default picking this one. So this is pretty cool. Line spacing, let's keep it like that. Then the weight, I think the weight was for body font it was 400. The weight is by default the 400, which is fine. Now this is, I think we are good here. We can change other things, but let's keep it like this. Then if we go to body large, I can also define body large. Let's try to identify where our body large font is. Now this could be body large. Again, I think there would be some other places where we would be using body large font. Yeah, so let's define body large as well. This is again 16 pixels, 1400. Okay, so this is same. I think this is same to this font, which was Inter 400 16 pixel, and this is again, so I don't see really here the body font. But if let's sorry, body large font. So if you have any components where you are using where you see small fonts and large fonts as well in a body, in a body of a component or a div here, then in that case you can change that. I am not seeing an example here. This is again, this should be Inter 16 pixel. These all are body fonts, right? Maybe this one, this can be body large. Let's go here. This is 624 pixels, right? So let's say we can define it. Maybe we don't use it, but let's define it 24 and it's 600. Yeah, so this is our kind of a body font, right? So this is configured. If I go to the top, let's consider this one as our heading. I don't know, there is something wrong in this design. Yeah, I think there is a mask applied here. So if I go here, or this one, this, let's say this is our heading, which is Inter 756 pixels. So if I go to heading, Inter 56, and then we are good to go for 700. Yeah, that's good. Then I think on the buttons we have already, okay, we haven't done that yet, but let me find some. Okay, let's say this is your kind of a section title, or yeah, I think there is by default styling for there, like section title is 632 pixels, so we will keep it like 32 pixels, or maybe we can mark this, okay, it's 32 pixels, and we can mark this as 600. So yeah, this is your section title. Then this can be your, for example, just above the section title can be considered as small title. So this can be your small title, which is I think 14 pixels and 400. Yeah, weight is 400, so I think we're good here. So I think that's it. There is nothing else. Now this can be a different font. We can define it in style, or maybe we can select a body font and then change it. This one is, again, it's a body, but I think it's bold. Here, if I go here, body is, again, this font is different from body, but it should be body font. This one is, we I think selected for, yeah, 416 pixels. So I think we selected it different, but let's say we define 18 pixels, and weight can be 400 for body large. But we can change it this later. For now, I think we're good here. So yeah, now let's go to the designing of our first landing page here. But before that, let me quickly, I think it would be, Bubble is pretty cool about that. It would have, set the other uh, styling good as well, but let's compare it with design as well. um, if you go here, this one is your kind of a, primary uh, button, you can say, your standard button, you can say. So for the standard button, your text is white of the contrast color, and your background is primary. So if I go to primary button, background is primary, text is white, primary contrast, and your text weight is 515. 500 is weight, and 15 pixels. Yeah, it works for us. Then if we go to the outline button, I think I have seen it here somewhere. There is no outline button in this design, but we can. Now this button is another example where it is, getting away from our usual design. We can define styling or customize it or something, but I think we are good for the rest of the things. If I go to the links, you will also see that it is already set up by Bubble, which is pretty cool. Yeah, primary color is set. So I think we are good here. Now the next thing I want to show here is pretty cool, which is importing this Figma design into the Bubble app. If you had to, you can start from scratch, like drawing components here or something, but the pretty cool feature with Bubble is that it allows you to, you can say, import Figma design files, which saves a lot of time. But there is a catch here. um, your Figma groups, your Figma grouping of these components should be should be done properly, otherwise it can be a mess. But let's try to import this one and see how it goes. We can have a separate video explaining this one, but let's try it here. If I go to settings, I will in general, I think it will ask me what's the API key for design import. You can import Figma, but I need API key, and I need um, Figma file ID. Let me get this one from Figma, but let me tell you how you can get Figma file ID. Figma file ID is, you can simply, if you click on share, it will give you a link. You can copy this link, you can copy, then you can paste it somewhere, anywhere basically. If you go to, for example, here, you have pasted it here, and you will see file, and right next to the file, this is your file ID, right? You can get this for any page. Right now we don't want the shareable link for the whole design, because it will then try to create Bubble components out of these elements as well. What Bubble does is that in your Figma design, when you share a file ID, it will try to translate every parent or any major frame here as a page, and groups within it as components. So what I'll try to do here is, I have just tried to share this one, so I have only this one to import. Rest of them will not be imported. So the API key, how you can get the API key is, you can go to Figma, then I think you can go preferences. maybe not preferences, but here I think in the settings you can check the bubble documentation to get this out. I already have my um, bubble key, sorry, Figma key with me. I think here you can, yeah, this one. I have already created a key here. I will copy that and I will use it here. Just give me a second. Okay, I have used my key here and then I clicked import, and now it's importing the design file. So let's see how it goes. It will take some time. Okay, so the import is done here, and this is how Bubble has imported the design. It doesn't look good here because we need to work on this to make it look like the how it was in the Figma file, and then yeah, let's try to run it and see how it goes. You can run this using this preview button. It will load this web app in kind of a dev mode, and then you can see how things look. So this is how your app looks, and if you compare it with the Figma design, um, you will see that it's pretty much looking the same. But yeah, there are a few things like here the image is not here, this image is not here, and again there are a few differences and few things to fix here, but it has done a bulk of work for you, which you will have to fix. Now let's go to the design and try to fix things. If I go here, let's try to start with a header. This is your header, and in the header, if I compare it with this Figma, and let's try to do one thing, make it a kind of a prototype, so we don't have to look in the design. We will just compare it with our app. This will save us some time. So this is how the header looks, right? So I want to let's do it like this, and I think you can hide the controls as well. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So this is our page, and this is Figma prototype. This is not our Bubble app, but we want our Bubble app to look like this. So let's start with the header. So this component is imported as header by and I believe these groups are created based on what was in Figma, and then you have icons and shapes and stuff like that. So here we have another group of maybe social icons. So let's do one thing. Any web app where you will be designing header or a footer, you want them to be reusable. You don't want them to be copy pasting throughout your pages. For example, this website or this web page has only one page, but if there were more pages, you don't want to be copy pasting it. So there is a pretty cool feature in Bubble where you can click and you can say convert to a reusable element. It will create a separate component for separate page or separate element for it, and then you will be able to design it and reuse it throughout your website. So let's try that, convert to a reusable element. Now I want to name it for example header. Okay, header. So this is created here. Yeah, now as you can see, apart from those pages, those default pages, I now got reusable elements, and header is here one of those elements. So this is how it looks. Now reusable header element is what it is kind of a layout. It's a group thing. There are three kinds of reusable elements that you can make. It can be a pop-up, it can be floating group. I will explain what floating group is, but group in Bubble is, you can say, it's in the design it's kind of a container, right? Everything is around groups, and as you will see that we will be defining and creating a lot of containers called groups, and there can be multiple types of groups. Like a reusable group is one thing, or repeatable group I think it's called. Then there is floating group as well. So let's make it a group. It's a group. Now reusable header is the main element. It's the main element which is appearing here. Let's go to layout and say, now it's saying that it's a fixed layout. That means it will always take for these 1440 in width, pixels in width, and height 126. Let's go to the design. As you can see, the design is like this. Now maybe you want, if you look at the website, everything is not going beyond these boundaries. Maybe it is 1440, or depending upon the screen that we are using, it can be more than that as well. But let's say this whole screen is 1440 pixel wide, and what I'm trying to do here is I want this header to go to the full width. But what if this screen, I'm also now going to, as we will be designing this, I'm going to discuss about responsiveness. If we move to smaller devices, what will happen? If we move to bigger devices, what will happen? There I can do a separate demo for responsiveness, but for now let's try to keep this thing in mind when we are designing, or later we will have a lot of problems. So this header thing is, I want it to be as wide as the page width. So that means you don't want it to be fixed. There could be two ways to do it. Align to parent, that means wherever this header is going to be, its width is going to be aligned to its parent. So for example, if this index, we will add this header in the index page, and index page is taking the width of the whole screen, then this header will do the same. So that is what align to parent is. You can also use row, which is everything horizontal, and then column, everything vertical. We definitely don't want it to be a column. We want it to be a row, but let's keep it aligned to parent for now. Now minimum width is let's say 0, maximum width is this. I don't want to define a maximum width here, so maximum width can be infinity. Definitely it won't go to infinity because it is aligning to the parent, and parent will be running on whatever screen size it will take. That minimum height is 126, maximum height is 126. I want to keep that, that's fine. Now if we talk about this first group, now as this is this group is having two subgroups, group 9 and group 8. Group 9 is this top group. You can rename groups as you want, but the better way to name them is what understandable to you. You maybe call it top banner or something, whatever you want to call it. Then this is main header. I like to name them like as much readable as can, as with any naming convention. That's the norm, but normally even without naming them, you can live and you can do good designs. So for the top banner, I don't want this top banner. It's a rectangle shape added to add that effect of a background. I don't want to keep it, because how I'll do it, I'll go to this group top banner, and now right now it's saying that its width is is fixed. I want to keep it fixed because this top banner, as you can see on any screen, either we can add some kind of a padding this much to keep it this much away from, or we can fixate our design to this width. I'll go with the approach of fixating right now. So I can say fixed width 1440 is fine for me. For now, maybe we will later reduce it, but for now, let's say 1440 is fine. If your parent element or your group is going beyond 1440, your top banner will stay the same. Height is 48, that is fine, no problem with that. Now icons, what icons is, I think this is this one icon, but before going to that, let's try to set the background. If I go to top banner, I'll go to appearance. In appearance, you can go and set the background of any group. So I'm setting it to flat color right now. It is basically transparent, which means that you have defined a black color but with opacity of 0%. Let's define it to 100%. I want to I want it to have a background. This is black now, which is kind of a text color for us. But in the design, if you go, this is not black, I think. So what you can do is go back to the design file and see what this color is. Again, you can leverage styling here, but let's not do that for now. If you want to keep it in a variable, but I think this is the only place where we are going to use this color, so I will only paste it here. Okay, so let's paste it here, enter. So yeah, this is how it is. Not much difference, but yeah, this is not pitch black. So I think, yeah, this is set. Now the background is set. Now let's try to figure out how this group is going to lay out its element. Okay, so sorry. So what it's doing here, it's saying that for my parent, I will only attach myself to the top, and for the element inside, it's not defining anything. But if I go to icons, everything is fixed in this design. Everything is on a fixed location, which is a pretty bad design, right? That means even if your parent is coming is reducing its size, everything will be going out of the parent group, because you have defined a fixed location, which is x 160 and y 12. So let's try to do one thing. I don't want to keep it as a as a fixed container. I will say it's a row container. Everything will go like this. And for the row container, what I'll do is container alignment, that how you want to keep the content inside. We'll come to that, but let's say I don't want its width to be fixed, or we can keep it fixed, but let's say keep it 1200, because I want it to be not more than that. So again, this is a fixed width, which is not a good thing for responsiveness, but let's try to play with it. So this is how it looks right now. So everything is kind of going to left, which is not something we want. But let's try to figure out the design component. So if you see this and this, they are kind of related to each other, and then this and this are again can be grouped together. This is a text, these are icons. So in total I am seeing 4 components, right? There are 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So let's try to do something like, let's say I say these first. Let's clean it. This icon is inside right now, it's inside a group. I don't want that. I want, okay, it has defined it as a shape, which is not what we want. That's a problem we can have when importing things with Figma. So let's delete it for now, and let's delete this as well now. And this group looks fine. I think they have used socials, vector. Okay, that's fine. You can use that and set a kind of an image. It's an image component used here. But let's do one thing. Let's add an icon here, which you can do just these are the visual elements. This is icon here. You can like drag it here and paste it here. Icon Fafa bars, but you can name it icon location or something. Naming them is always good. It can help you track them, it can help you navigate through it. Now if you see here, it's pretty dark, because for icons, if I go here, okay, so for icons, if we go here, the primary color is set, which is by default. For if you go to let's say styling, and you will see that for icon, The styling defined is standard icon, and the icon color would be primary. Now we can have here an icon which is appearing on top of like a contrast icon or something, because it's appearing on top of a dark background. Here you see it's coming on top of white background, or on top of dark background, so it's white. But if we, let's say, go to this one, or any other icon which is appearing on a white background, it should be using the primary color. So what we can do here is, let's say, add a style, name it contrast icon, anything that is, you know, appearing on top of uh, dark background, and let's say it's icon. Create this. Okay, sorry about that, I don't like, should be using these this kind of naming convention. Then contrast icon, what it should do is it should have primary color as the, I think this one or this one, primary contrast. Yeah, anything that is coming on top of a primary color, or in this case our dark background or something like that. So yeah, this is contrast icon. So what I want to do here is I will go to this header, I will say, okay, consider this as you know, style attribute. You can change it here as a contrast icon. Now you see it's white. Now the other thing is, with icons, what I can play with, and the good thing is that Bubble has this library of icons. I can go to the design, or I can, you know, sorry. So yeah, so I can go to the design and try to create the same thing without using the icon, because in that case I will be, you know, using the Figma image or something. But let's try to find this icon. I name it space, sorry, location. Location is because it's kind of a location pin, I think this icon here is. I'm unable to find this. Yeah, this is what it looks like. But try to, let's say, try to find address. Okay, place. So yeah, I think for location, this is giving me this icon, which is fine for me for now. Obviously I need to, you know, replicate the design and have the exact same thing as design, but in that case we will have to use a group here, or an image, you can say component, but let's use icon for now. Now what I want is to have the width and height of 30-30. In the design it's 24-24, but I think there is padding as well, so let's keep it 30-30. And or we can, yeah, I think we can reduce it as well. 24. This is good. And if you see here, the one thing I want to make sure is that this is designed on the same page width, or same canvas width and height that I am using. Now this is saying that this page width is 1440 cross, you know, 448. If we go to this landing page, so width is 1440, height, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, because it will get, you know, the scrollable effect on your screens. So now what I'm designing this page on is default builder width is 1440. So it gives me a context, like on 1440 this image is, you know, size this. On bigger screen, how will it appear? Again, this is just an example. You don't have to consider in case of icons and images like these, but maybe for other things. But yeah, so this is one thing I wanted to highlight here. Then if we go to text, it's saying its width is fixed. I would say never do that. Never keep things as fixed width. Now the width is 0. What I wanted to do is not keep the fixed width. Minimum width 0, but the maximum can be anything. So it took all the space that it could. And how we can fix that is fix width to the content. So what I'm saying here is, I'm saying to this label that, or this text element, to make yourself as wide as your content is, right? Your content is getting to this far, so you are this wide. And your minimum height, you can give minimum height, like I don't want it to be go beyond or go lesser than this height, but let's do here, um, let's not do that. Try to do the same as we did with the width. It is already saying that the element is fitting to its content. To change this, change its alignment, so this is fine. Then this is, if I go here now, these two things, as I said, these two things, this icon and these are, this should be grouped together as they are together in the design. So again, if when I've grouped this, it has taken all the width available, but I'll say fixed width to content. So what it's doing is this icon plus this label, I'm saying okay, do this, and you will have you have to calculate your width like that. Now the other thing I can do, what I see here is a space between this icon, and it's giving me like 8 pixels. So what I can do here is, to make that space, I can go layout and go to apply gap spacing between elements. So group is, again, as I said, everything is defined and designed using group layouts in Bubble. Throughout this tutorial you will see too many different approaches, and how to use those groups to make effective and responsive designs. So what it's saying is that, okay, you said it that it would be a row container layout. Row means you want everything to go horizontal, but there can be a case where there is not enough horizontal space. Then in that case, the next element would go into the next line. So that's why it's saying, if it goes to the next line, what would be your row gap? What would be the difference between two rows? So as you will see, if I type in here 20 or let's say 10, nothing will happen because it's appearing on the same row. But there are two columns, one is this icon and the other is this text. And if I try to do it like this, 10, as you can see, the space appears here. Now the other thing that we want here is, as you can see, everything is kind of centered aligned here. So I will say to this group that whatever your parent contain, wherever you are, center yourself, which would be, sorry, this is for inside, and this, yeah, okay. So now it's saying that my vertical alignment, because I am in a kind of a this vertical space, my vertical alignment would be center aligned. And again, we can apply the same for, I think if you can set the container alignment, it should align the inside or whatever is within this group as that. But let's keep it for now. Let's keep it this way from now. What I can do is I don't want to do any, I think it won't make a difference because it's the bigger element in the group, and the group is taking the height of this one because it is fitting to the height of its content. And for this I can say, okay, you need to be centered. Now this is fine, this looks fine. As you can see, everything is aligned with the design. Now we need to do the same for the other for the second text as well. Let me quickly do that. Okay, what I've done here is created another same group like the previous one, group C, icon and a text with same vertical alignment to be centered, and there is the one thing I missed I think is the row space. I want the column space to be 10. Row really doesn't matter here, but if we want, we can do that. Now the other thing is now those two components, those first two, icon and label, are set here, which is good for us. Now what we can do here is this support and this thing, we can fix this. Now as you can see, support is going up, we want it to be centered. The one thing I really don't like here, which the fixed width, I never want to do that, but it depends on your requirements, what kind of design you want to achieve. But here we don't really need it. The vertical alignment, I want it to be centered. If I go to group, Then you also want it to be centered, which is fine. Now as you can see, everything is pretty much aligned vertically, but horizontally they are not what I want them to be. So what I can do is, let's do one thing. Let's Now here you will again see the, 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 the magic of bubble groups. What I want is this group, this one, I can click this one and then hold shift and click this one. So these two groups, group C and D, I want them to be grouped together in another group, but that group would be a row group. Now I have these two things grouped together here, and now whatever the width of this group is going to take that. But again, I am not going to be relying on fixed widths here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say to it, fixed width to your content, which is these two groups, which are also fixing their width to the content. So everything is content based here. So this is fine. And the other thing I want to do here is group this and this in a horizontal or row container as well. So what we have here is two groups, group E and F. E is containing these two elements and F is containing icons and support. Now you go, why I did that? As you can see, these two things are grouped together. So it makes sense to put them in separate groups. We could have done this without the groups, but I think everything is pretty easy and pretty smooth using the groups. Let me show you. So what I'm going to do here is, the first thing I'm trying to calculate the width of this component inside here. We can calculate it like this. It's 1440, and I think it's starting at 160 and it's ending at like 1227, which is again I think 160 space from the left. So if you minus, for example, 1440 minus if 160 is on the left and 160 on the right, 320, so it's about sorry, so it's 1120. Okay, so this whole thing, there must be a way in Figma to calculate this, but I'm not aware of it. If you guys know, that would be, yeah, it's doing that. So if you go here and it's saying I think to this component the space is 739. So I can say that if the space is 739 and this component is 228 wide, this component is 153 wide, so this is around that 1120 mark, which we can set as a width of this top banner. Well, for the top banner, what we want here is to fit everything according to the parent. I don't want it to be fixed width. First, let me explain why. So this should go all the way from here to here, but then this thing and this thing, or what, these four things will not go beyond this. So what I can do is I can group these two, like all of them here. Let's select this. Sorry, I need to select this and this. So these two groups, group E and F, I want to group them in, again, sorry, not fixed container, row container. Now everything is in the row container, but again it's trying to calculate the width and everything as fixed. But what I want this group to have is, I want it to have everything, let's say, not the fixed width, first thing. The other thing is 1120 pixel wide. It's a minimum width, and the maximum width can be this one. Sorry, I could have set both, but what I did here is minimum width is 0, which means it can go to 0. It can disappear if there is no content, and if there isn't enough space or something for responsiveness. But for maximum width, it won't go beyond 1120. It won't go beyond this point, right? It can squeeze itself, right? Like I think right now it's doing, and it will move everything vertically, but or into the next rows. But here it's not. It will not go beyond in terms of maximum width. Beyond 1120 in terms of the maximum width. So 1120 is the maximum width, and the other thing I have done is fix width to content. I think I can remove that because I don't want it to fix its width to the content. Now this group and this group, you can see they are appearing here. This is a row container, and I want the alignment. Let me try alignment in a different way, but let's go back here and try to fix the width of it. I don't want it to have any minimum width. I can make it as same to the parent, which is 126. The other way would be to minimum to have a fixed height and say percentage 100%. That means you need to take your parent's height, right? So it has taken the top banner's height, which is a fix. I think in this case, which is right now fixed height to content, but we can define, which is 48 for the top banner. Okay, so what we have here is this what I've done is this group G is the parent, which is taking the height equal to the top banner, which is taking the full height, and everything is center aligned within this, which are two groups, which one is group E and F, and it's a row container. Okay, so yeah, this is how we have designed the top banner. This is our parent group. This is taking the width and height of the banner, but the width is maximum 1120. It won't go beyond that, because if I, let's say, go right, as you can see, it's not going beyond that point. But right now the problem is that it's attached to the left. What I want is to be centered in the container, which is this, like in the design. If we go back to the design, yeah, so we're good here, but the thing that we are left with here is there is not enough space between the components. So what I want here is this group E to be on the left side and group F onto the right side. Now there can be two ways. We can change their alignment, or we can change the parent group's alignment, where I say what you are going to do here is align these groups, align its child. There are two ways. There is a space around, which is like this, where around these components there is a space, or like this, they will go to their edges. Right now it's going to its edge, again it's going to its edge. The other thing, I want this this to be okay. This should be center aligned. I can do like this. So yeah, so in top banner, I am saying everything will be center aligned, which means this group is centered aligned, and within this group, the alignment of the childs will be like this. They will go to the edges, right? It is called, I think, space between. Yeah, not space around, space between. So this is how it looks. The other thing I want to do here is the space between these two. So I can go to group E, say apply space between these two, and I want to apply a space of let's say 20 between these two. We can also check with the design. For example, here you see that the space is around 32. We can mark it as, let's say, 30. So yeah, this is how it will look, which is fine. Then the other thing is again, the space between these elements, it should be also the same to keep the consistency. So yeah, it is how it's looking here. Now the other thing that we need to fix here is these icons, but let's not do that. I'll come to that later, but first let's see how it looks. This is not going to, I will not be able to preview this component as it's a reusable component. I'll have to use it in the index page or somewhere to then then show it. So this is the landing page we imported from Figma. This is the page that we want our design to be, and this header, I am using this header. It's on the top. What I can do is I can delete this, because what I want to do is use a reusable element here. Now here, if you go, you will see all of your reusable elements here. We have created only one, which is header. If I go and paste it here, it will look like this. Now I am dragging everything because it's the page landing is fixed, and everything is you need to place like dragging or something. Now the top banner, the alignment thing should work for us. If I try to preview this page, it will load, and you will see that it is showing everything according to the design, which is fine for us. The one thing I want to do here is, as you can see, everything is like scrollable. I don't want it to be scrollable, which is pretty bad. It's because of these elements, which we will fix. But right now what I can do is, the first thing that I need to fix is this page's width and height, and also how it's going to arrange its element within it. But let's go to that later. Let's fix our header first. If I go back to header, now I want to fix this one. This is, as you can see in the design, if I go to the design, this is a logo, and then a name, and then this line, and I want to use groups to basically fix this one. But let's go here, and first thing I want to make sure is that this image is fine. Main header, this is the top banner, this is the main header. Main header would be taking a fixed height, which is fine for me. Width, I don't want it to take a width of a fixed 1440 pixels. What I want it to be is take width of the parent, which is as wide as the screen is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, no, I don't want you to be a fixed height. I want you to be a row container, and your width won't be fixed. Your width can be 0 minimum, or your width maximum can be of the parent, which is infinity. Infinity means that it will be contained within the parent's height. Now we don't need this rectangle, because now, as you see, when I've done that, it has also changed its position, which we don't want it to, but in that regard it will have to take its position with respect to this one, which both are placed here. So what I want it to be, that don't align to parent, be it a column layout, which means everything is vertical. The first element would be this one here, and the next would be coming below it. In row everything is coming next, and in column it's coming below. So the top banner should be the first thing, then the header should be the next thing, right? And the header, we don't want this rectangle, we will give it a background, so we will delete this. On the header we will say, okay, appearance, change the background to flat color. It shouldn't be transparent, it should have this color in the design. If we go to the design, this color is here. I can copy this, I can go here and let's say paste it here. So this is done, this looks good. Then this is group 6, which is the logo and this text. What I can do, if you go to the text, if you go here, as you see, it has imported all the vectors from the from the design, which is not something we want. We want it to be clean, right? So one way to do that is, let's try to delete this one. I don't want this to be like this. Text solution text is fine, but here you will see kind of this variation. Now there are two ways. Either I can export from Figma the whole logo and the text as is, so that I don't have to create text with variations in Bubble, but you can do that as well. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this. Let's export this, and what I want it to be exported as 1x. I hope that you are familiar with 1x 2x, which means that it will be exported as 228 cross 48. That is what we want. We will export it here. If you export it in 2x, it will be because in the bubble design we will be fitting it as per as per the design in the same width, and if it's 2x it will be more pixels within smaller resolution or smaller area, which will result in high resolution. But we don't definitely want to do that, because high res images would result in more load time, which you don't want in your website. So I think 1x is fine. So let's create landing page demo folder here. So everything that I export should come here. Okay, it's going inside, but let's keep it here. And the other thing I want to is name as main logo or header logo or something, and it will save here. Now let's try one thing. There are two ways I can do. I can either use an image component, or I can use group as well. Let's try to use an image component. The first thing I want here is image component. So image is here. Image component, it will take some default width and height. I don't want to take the default width and height 28 cross 48. That is what I want, and I want it to be fixed. A few of the things that I would be having fixed in my design. So it's 228 cross 48. Keep this element fixed height, so this will be 48. So this is your image, how this looks like, and then I'll upload the image. This is again, I'll have to okay, where did I put it? Maybe here, yeah, landing main logo, and I'll import this one. So yeah, as you see, this image is imported here. It's the same width and height, and I've exported the same layout, and this looks fine. We will come to it later. But then the next thing is this line. Let's see, line 1. It has added as a shape here. So what I'll do is keep it for now. Then there is next these links. How this looks is I think this should be in group, but it's not in group. What they've done is created a text. What I wanted here was to have links, because I don't want text. Then in that case, what I'll have to do is it's again not in the scope of this tutorial, but we can use links here, because we should use links here because they will be linking to pages in the design. So what I want to do is all of these, again the same thing. I don't want them to be fixed width and height, so I've selected them all, and then you can only change things when they are of same kind. For example, these are 6 text, and I can bulk select them and then try to fix them. What I'm trying to fix here is minimum width can be 0 and maximum width is infinity, but what I'm saying is fix width to content. So whatever the text is, it will fix to that. And then the other thing I don't want it to be having a minimum height. I will, yeah, as you see now, this everything is contained, and it's basically containing the text, and it's not going beyond that. Now what I can do here is group elements in, for example, I want it to be a row container, so all of them are in row container. And again, for this row container, I want its width to be fixed content, so whatever these things are taking, it will go to that. After that, the other thing I want, there, as you can see, there is a space of let's say 40 pixels between them. So I want this group to say, okay, between my columns add a 40 pixel space. So this is how it will look. I want its alignment to be centered, so everything is coming in a center alignment. Then we have image, we have group. The other thing I think we need to do here is put these two in a group so that they're better aligned. So I can do this and then select this, group element in again the row container. I don't want it to take the width of the whole page. I will say fixed width to this one, then to its content, and then what I want to do here is add a space between them. If you go here and you see there is a space of 28 between them, so it can be, let's say, 30 here, 30 here, oh sorry, 30. And what I'm going to do here is make everything center aligned, make this component itself center aligned. And what you need to do is don't put some kind of a fixed height or something. So it is taking the height of that line, but we can do is, as it is of lesser height in the group, so we said okay, you should be centered. Line, can we mark it as a center or you know, to the top, but it doesn't really matter because it is basically defining the height of the whole group. So we have this group, we have this group. What's left here is now these two icons. Okay, yeah, it has imported those as icons. So what I can do here is, again, for the icons I don't want to use this, what has been imported by Figma. I don't want to use this. Again, this one is, I don't want it to be a group, it's a button. Just simply put a button here. So what I'm going to do here is put a button, then what's the title is get solutions, get solutions. That's fine. The other thing is I want these two icons, so let's place this one, and the other one would be here as well. So we have two icons. For the first icon I want it to be an icon, I think search. The other icon is, I think it's cart. So cart, this is fine. For the icon search, what I'm going to do here is I'll try to find some search icon. Yeah, I found it, which is good. Again, try to find a cart icon here. Okay, it's not similar to this one, maybe it's a bag or something. Let's try to find a bag. Yeah, it's not the same thing, but it's quite similar. So you have this, and this. They can be grouped together, but as you can see here, the outline color, the icon color is black. Now we said our primary icons are of primary color, but what we have done is one variant was contrast icon and the other variant is now this black icon, which can be defined in styles, or maybe if it's an exception, maybe we can only define here, but it's always good to define things in styles. Let's add a style, which is, I can name it dark icons or something like that, dark icon, which is an icon, and create it. And the primary color or the color of this icon would be of text, which is dark. I can use text here. I can use a custom color like a dark one. Maybe in the future we are changing text color, but we are not changing color of these icons. So yeah, I can also define it in the define it in the style variables. But let's save us some time. And for this icon, I'm going to say style to be dark icon. And even for this, I'm going to say style to be dark icon. So we have two dark icons here. For the button, I'll say primary color is, this is fine, this looks fine. Let's put all of them in a row container, which is convert, group these elements into row container. Then I want everything to be centered aligned, horizontally centered aligned, not horizontally centered aligned, vertically centered aligned. So this is how it looks. And these icons, as I said, are smaller in the group, so I want them to be centered as well. Let's keep the button centered as well. This is fine. Now here again, this is taking the fixed weight type, which I don't want. uh, Width 0 and fixed width to content. This is much better. You can also remove this one as well. Fixed width to content. Now you see that this button is, it's not what you want it to be. Now the problem here is, what you need to do is, if you can add padding, it will solve your problem. So let me try to solve this using the padding thing, and I'll go back to the styles. I can do it here, right here. For example, I can go here and I say add a padding. For example, it is right now 88, which is not what we saw in the design. It was more than that. 11, 12, or maybe it's 12 and 36, 36, 35 it's saying, but let's keep it even. So 12, 12, and let's keep it 36, 36. Now I just have to supply the text, right? I don't want to supply anything else, and it will take the height according to the font size of the button, which we have already defined in the style. Now I have done this. Now what I'll have to do is, if I go to, now it is saying style overridden, which means something else was defined in the style, which I changed. I don't want that, because every button, every primary button, I want it to do the same, right? So what I'm going to do here is going back to the style and say, for the stunt button, or for the buttons, if I go to the buttons and say for primary button, not do this 12, do this 8, do this 12, do this, let's say 36 and 36. This is how my button will look like. And as I will always be saying to the buttons that take your width from your content, and it will be calculating the content from its height. In some places, in a row, in a row container at least, but maybe in a column container you'll have to mark this for the height as well. Now what content is, its content is this text. So it is taking that, it is taking the height and width from that, but what we have done is also added the padding. So have that space between text and the borders. So you will not have to define width for your buttons now. You will only have to just set the text and set their style attribute, and it will work. Now for the group, I want them to be spaced between, for example, let's say how much space is there. Now here you see these are not equally spaced. Even, let's say, for example, if I try to add a 32 space here, which is in the design, and it will look like something, it will look like this. Let's try this. It will be 32. Now this is 32. As you can see, this doesn't look like design. Now it has added the same space between these icon and these icon. These icons. Now another problem here I'm seeing is that these icons are having this padding, which is default, so I don't want to change that. But if you go to the design, it might have, it has the padding, but its size is smaller. So I'm going to define it as 24, 24, and icon cart is 24. By the way, same thing can be applied here, that for our icons, rather than saying, okay, go yourself, go and have a fixed width and height, but what we can say is define the padding in the style which is already defined, and say fix your width to your content, right? And it will add the padding, and it will size them accordingly. But let's keep it that way. Now what I want is to reduce the space. For that, what I'll do is group them in a row container. When I group them in a row container will take some kind of a weight, but whatever is available, but I'll say fixed width to the content. And if I go back here, the space between these two is 16. That's what I want. I want them to have the space of 16 pixels. So not 160. So this is 16 pixels wide. Now I think this looks fine, but the other problem that we are having here is this space. This is not what we're looking for. If you look at the space, this is from this to this is around 48 pixels. So what I want is, I have grouped them together. No, not yet. So what I can do is group them in a group, in a row group, in a this one horizontal container. Let's say group them in row container. Now they are grouped in row container, and I think, yeah, this looks pretty fine. Fixed width to its content, that way what I want all the time. So yeah, this looks this fine. This is fine. I think this one is here. um, this is group J. It's not fixing its width to its content. Now it's fine. Okay, for now, for the group L to have space between them, which is group 1 is this, and the other thing in the group is this. So space was 48. So what I'm going to do here is add a space of column gap 48. So now we have a space between between this and this. Now the other thing I want is this to have space between these as well. I can group them again, these two groups together in so it's everything. Everything is groups basically. So let's group them in row container, and that's it. The only thing that I want is between this thing, this should go on the left, this should go on the right, and we know how to do it. Is we go to this group which is containing both, and we say do this, space between. So they have gone to the corners, but as you can see, it's not aligned. Why? Because this group should not go beyond 1120, and it should be the main header should have its component as centered aligned. Now you see everything is aligned. Look, now this is as per the design. Apart from these icons, let's fix that as well. I'm not leaving this as is. So here, these are 4 groups. I don't want to use them. Let's try to use something else. I think icons would be better here. So what I'm going to do here is add an icon, and then this icon is, again, I think the style attribute for this one is should be icon. Let's say icon social, name it icon socials, or icon Facebook or whatever, and set it as contrast icon because I want it to be white. And the other thing that we need to fix here is what's the size of this icon? It's 2020, right? But we are also adding the padding in our default icons. So what we will do here is, for this group, I don't want it to have the fixed width. As always, I will say row and try to don't have anything minimum, fix width to content, and then height as well, which is 20 is fine for us. It works. So yeah, let's keep it like that. So the first icon is Facebook. Again, use bubbles library here, icon library here, rather than doing it like this. Now it's our choice what kind of icon we want to use. I think this one is better. Now this icon is used here. Again, it is having that padding. If you want to remove that, you can override the style or define another style without the padding, but I will keep it this way. It doesn't really matter. If you want your design to be pixel perfect, then yeah, definitely you can play around. Now you know how to do that. So paste. There are 4 icons. Now this is for example, this one was Facebook, and this one is, let's say, what's the next? It's LinkedIn. Okay, there is something wrong with my editor. You don't need to worry about that. I think it's a connection issue. The connection is saying that timed out, but normally it's saved. It saves as you make changes. So this is Facebook. This is the other thing is LinkedIn, and the third would be YouTube. YouTube, and then the fourth, I like Twitter better. So Facebook is Facebook, LinkedIn, let's change that and try to find a LinkedIn logo. Let's keep the consistency of the filled logo, and then again YouTube, use this one, and this is pretty cool. The icon library, it saves you a lot of time, and it basically serves the purpose. So I think this is it. This is our well designed header. Now let's try to see how it looks. By the way, everything is by default on index page right now because we have imported, and it the Figma name of the frame was landing, so it created this page. But let me quickly tell you the quickest way to change this to a landing page. So what you can do, I think there is something like you can mark this page as new index. Yeah, so confirm it. Now this is my new index. I don't want to be loading landing page. What I'll do is just load the default app. So as you see, what it will do is name, because everything, your default page, your as in many other frameworks, your default page is index page, and you don't want um, you know to have to address it using some in URL or something. And you also want, when you are changing the index, you also want your old index to be saved in case you have made some changes there. So what it will do is whenever you're marking any page as new index, it will keep a copy of the old index, which was empty. In our case, what we did was imported the design from Figma. It named it according to the frame name in the Figma, which was this one, I think. Landing page. And now we have converted that to index. So what I can do is load the default app. As you will see, there won't be any landing here. It would be simply the URL. Version test means that you're running in dev environment, and the debug mode true, it will give you a debug. We're not going to do much debugging here, but if we want, we can do that. If I try to load the default URL of the test environment, which would be like this, version test, and if I remove the version test, it will be the live environment, but we haven't yet deployed it on the live. So this is version test. This is how it looks. So as you can see here, now everything, at least on the header, everything looks aligned, right? I know there are a few glitches which we will fix, but as far as the header is concerned, we are fine here. Maybe this logo resolution is not good. The only solution is to export the high res image and use that one. Let's try that. Let's try to export high res logo, which would be this one, and let's try here and go to header. It's a reusable element used here, so we have to go to the header and change it. Main logo. Okay, so if I go and refresh this page, this will, yeah, as you can see now, it's a bit crisp, and I think your header is done. Now if I go to the index page and try to see, now there are two things here. As you see, as I move above, the header goes with the page. Right now there is, if you want to, for example, have it floating or animate to this width and not go beyond it, there are ways to do it. Maybe at the end of this tutorial I will do that, but here I think this is fine. You can use this for now. But let's go, and now I think we know enough about groups and how to space things and how to fix things and how to use icons and stuff, how to use styles. Let's try to quickly fix this hero section here. Now if I go to the hero image, this is hero image is imported here as a um, hero image because it's marked here as hero image. This whole thing is hero image. Then there is this blend, and I think it would have created a lot of mess there. The only thing that we want here is this group, which is okay. Let's try to clean it up. We won't need any rectangles imported from Figma, so that's fine. We can give it a background, uh, now here is again the cool thing about groups is that you can set them as having a background image. So in this case, let's try to set this as a background image, and landing page hero bg image. uh, let's see how it goes. So for hero section appearance, what I'll do is for this group, or for this whole hero section, background image as image, and upload hero bg image, okay, which was in this case a blank image. I think it wasn't exported correctly. I'll have to export it again. Okay, let's do one thing here. Let's pause it here as it is. I think we have concluded the header, and let me record another lesson or another tutorial for starting from this landing page. Yeah, we will be doing a lot of exciting stuff here as well, but yeah, let me record it in a separate video. Thank you.